All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out to the show today. Once again, this first game is going to be Jellyfish Necklace versus Coinye West here for the Dominate Gaming Dominate Dominion Tournament number 91. I'm telling them to do the chat bans whenever. Oh, come on. Why do you got to do that? XSplit when I start the thing. All right. So I'm going to have them do the chat bans now. Looks like the tournament starts right now, Rogue Slasher. You showed up just exactly perfectly in time to see it. Looks like the first ban is going to be Nidalee. Now, there are 10 bans in this mode. Additional 4 bans are just custom added by us. We do them in the pregame lobby. I'll actually show that for any new viewers. You can see that over here. There are extra bans that happen before we actually go to the champ select screen. So the first one was Nidalee, the second one's going to be Kassadin, and more of them will come out in a couple of moments here. So we take those 4 extra bans, and then we add them to the 4 bans that are done at the champion select screen for a total of 5 bans per team, 10 bans total. Now I'm waiting to see what the third ban is going to be. Spazzo66. It was actually colder in one point in the northeastern part of the U.S. than it was in some parts of Sweden. Figure that out. It got very cold. Oh, I'm a bank thing. We have the best teams here. Don't worry. Kha'Zix and Riven are going to be the last 2 bans. It means higher numbers, CK_Blaze. Alright, cool. We have all the chat bans. Whoa, is there pictures of Frozen Niagara Falls? I might want to see that between games. Because that's really cool. Alrighty. We are at the loading screen now for this game. And there's no sound for whatever reason. I probably just turned it off and forgot to turn it back on, but I can fix that by the, what's it called? I can fix that before the next game. So on the left-hand side team, we have Jellyfish Necklace. And on the right side team, we are going to have my inability to capitalize a J. No, I'm just kidding. It's not going to be that. It's just me editing that one again. On the right-hand side, we're going to have Coinye West. And the extra bands, I am going to get put on the screen for you right now. They were Nidalee, Kassadin, Kha'Zix, and Riven were the extra bands. Also, occasionally we do a fun thing where we count how many of a certain item gets built throughout the tournament, and it's going to be Blackfire Torch this week. You'll see that in the lower left between games. Obviously, it's at 0 right now because, well, the tournament hasn't started, so we don't know what items are going to be built yet. So we'll worry about that later. Let me center these a little bit up here at the top. Ta-da! Okay. LeBlanc, Wukong, Vi being banned. Did someone miss a ban? Could I go by the name on the brackets? But yeah, we're gonna be watching BFT, and we're gonna see the percentage of AP champs that build BFT. Is there a bracket? Yes, there's a bracket. Someone can get you a link in the Twitch chat for it. Looks like Lulu gonna be banned as well. Wukong and Vi. Vi we don't see banned too often, but Wukong gets banned a lot because his armor reduction is great. Hold on, I can't fit that. Jellyfish versus the Bads. Oh, they changed the bracket? Somebody changed the bracket on me. When I looked at it, it said that. Okay, I'll get it updated. Thank you, Dens Bruja. An admin has notified me. Okay, there we go. It got screwed around in the like 20 seconds that I wasn't looking at it. And then Taric was going to be the other ban. It looks like we did miss a ban in there. They gave one up. So we're going to see Annie up first. Annie has a lot of burst damage. Remote control Tibbers is really good for delaying on points and distracting and otherwise being a huge nuisance. And her AoE stun is extremely useful. She's also pretty damn durable because of Molten Shield. Molten Shield's a great spell. I think everybody should have it. We should get an extra like ability on T or something that lets us have Molten Shield, because it turns you from being a normal champion into where is all this MR and armor come from? It's kind of frightening. And we're seeing Leona and J4 being highlighted. Both these really good picks. J4 is extremely commonly used in Dominion competition, and just in Dominion in general, because his Airborne and his Cataclysm are really nice. He brings a little chase, Golden Aegis as well, a little bit slow, but I mean, it's Golden Aegis. It's kind of a boring ability. Leona being picked up as well, and Leona's Eclipse is very powerful, makes her extremely durable. She has great chase, lots of crowd control. Over on the other side, we're seeing Helo Pilot highlighting Maokai. Maokai and J4 are probably the two most represented champions in this game mode. We have been seeing them ever since I first cast a tournament. Those two have been used. And Mao is very difficult to unseat from points. Vengeful Maelstrom brings a lot of damage reduction to your team. He's got some good crowd control as well. And more importantly sometimes is his Harass with the Sapling Toss. Being able to sit back at such a huge range and just throw saplings makes him a very good 1v1 delay and defender. We'll see what Styx is. Styx going to go for that Nocturne? I know he's a big Nocturne fan. Ooh. Eagle Pilot switched over to Brand. Brand and Annie work very well with each other. So we're going to see Maokai and Brand. Brand's a really good champion for the same reason that Annie is. Brand has a stun. Brand has a lot of AoE damage. Brand's range is a little bit better than Annie's, so he can be played a little bit safer. Annie has Molten Shield, which you'd think kind of also makes her safe, but no, really, it's just if you get close with Annie, Annie can get stunned and destroyed. Brand can actually stay back a little bit safer out of range. They both deal really high damage. So different flavors of the same sort of role. We're going to see Irelia? Perhaps. Hey, this guy's name is Zos Tam. That's awesome. Somebody likes Forgotten Realms. Hey, you be quiet about my voice crack there, guy. My day job during the week also involves a substantial amount of talking, so my voice is oh dear all the time. Okay, so we're gonna see Irelia and Lux being picked up as well. Irelia is a champion that can be pretty durable, can be played pretty assassiny. She's a little bit flexible, but overall she's always really hard to kill. Has a lot of tenacity, so if you try to crowd control her, sometimes you get a little bit frustrated because those durations just get clipped off. And she's a good champion. We just don't see a lot of her because there's usually another character that does her role better than she does. But if you can play a good Irelia, go for it. Thank you, Drunken Furby. You got it right in the chat. You're a cool guy. Someone asking how the extra bans are determined. Each team gets 2 extra bans. They're done in the pre-game lobby before we go to Champ Select. So Nidalee and Kha'Zix were banned by Jellyfish Necklace, and Kassadin and Riven were banned by the Bads. And that's why they're right there in the middle of the screen in that little extra title. Seeing Lux as well. Lux is also a great champion because of being able to hang back and throw spells from really, really high range. Makes her very dangerous to deal with. And that's really all it comes down to is her range is so good. Why are teams given extra bans? Asks Rogue Slasher. Well, Dominion is not very well balanced. It's unfortunate to say. So as a result, we've increased the number of bans in order to compensate for some of the power champions that are in this game mode. Because of this game's map and the way that it works, some champions are just a little bit stronger over here. So that's why we added them in. And we picked the number of 10 champions total because at the time that we decided that 10% of all champions was a pretty good amount, and that was about 100 when we made that decision. What is the highest rated Dominion team? Contour Stole 1 asks, do you mean currently or ever? Because it's a little bit different. Currently, I would have to say that Clueless is fighting for top-rated team against Dango Ninjas. They're probably the top two. Clueless having the better record, Dango Ninjas not having quite been around as long. Overall, the highest-rated Dominion team, I would have to say, is Pays Evelyn Child Support. They no longer play as a team, but they had a 17-week win streak, and I think they have like the most wins ever currently until someone catches up. I think Clueless might catch up in a couple months here. So we're seeing Pantheon and Heimerdinger as well. Monster SS4 is a really good Heimerdinger. Heimerdinger is a pick that we don't see too often because, yes, you are on the wrong account again. Monster SS4 is a really good Heimerdinger, but he tends to be a little bit susceptible to being ganked because he doesn't really have a built-in escape mechanic. And DPS mistakes on Pantheon. Pantheon's an amazing champion because he has golden map presence with Grand Skyfall. He brings a stun, good at finishing people off. And on the other side, we're seeing Malzahar by Mr. Minstrel. And Malzahar's a very good bottom laner. Does a lot of damage. His harass is very safe. And he's really good at setting up ganks with another grasp. Let's take a look at these summoner spells. I told you this overlay was a little weird. So you can kind of see the summoner spells. The overlay that I was given is a little mediocrity. I don't have a way to fix that, unfortunately, without switching to an older version of the overlay. Alright, someone asked, Dominion has map-specific balance, says Supreme A-hole in the chat. You are correct, but it's being balanced very, very slowly. They've only done things for about 6 champs or something so far. Not nearly all of them like they need to. They're working on it. It's going to be a while. We should set up a tent. What kind of champions are you looking for in Dominion games? You want champions that have the ability to survive on their own if they get stuck. Characters like Kha'Zix, not very good. They don't have any crowd control, and they don't have any real way to escape. Kha'Zix, not so great. Gangplank is also a pick that's not very good. He doesn't bring any crowd control to the table, and he has to just walk away from his opponent. And, yeah, he has a cleanse, but still it's pretty easy to pick off a Gangplank. Other characters that aren't so great are ones that require substantial amounts of setup, like Kennen, for example, is a character that you have to go through a lot of setup to really have him be able to deliver his full damage potential. Misfortune is a champ that's not so great because she doesn't have really anything going for her, and her ult roots herself in place unless she decides to cancel it. So you have to watch out for that as well. Good champions are anyone that has crowd control and has an ability to escape. Yeah, someone else is running the camera. That would be great, yes. Sorry, I had to mute my mic for a second. I'll be going into the game in just a moment here. This first game of the... Wait a minute. I know how this works. There we go. This first game of the evening is going to be me remembering to minimize my taskbar. For one. Yay! It is going to be on the top/left side of the map. It is going to be Jellyfish Necklace up against the Bads. I'm just filling in the names on the overlay so I have it ready to go when it starts. Yeah, ADCs require a substantial amount of team coordination to really be able to work. And even then, you still see them run flash sometimes, just because it's very easy for them to get caught and destroyed. The notable exceptions are Vayne and Ezreal, because they both have very good disengage mechanics. So look at these two teams. Jellyfish Necklace, Circle Phoenix playing as Maokai, Darker Stakes playing as Annie, Hilo Pilot playing as Brand, DPS Mistakes playing as Pantheon, Monster SS4 playing as Heimerdinger. Interesting to know about Hilo Pilot, he actually flies helicopters in real life. That's pretty cool. Over on the Bads team, we have Arc-Et playing as Lux, Dansky playing as Jarvan IV, Space Cakes playing as Irelia, Zostam playing as Leona, and Mr. Minstrel playing as Malzahar. At the moment, I am one out of one of your commentators. I am Gandair of the gaming clan Vato clan, and usually there's a little bit more to that sentence. And to the Strogan fans in the chat, we don't know if he's playing or not because I didn't look at all the registrations. Why is Revive so good in Dominion? That's a question that takes a few sentences to answer, but because it counters being dead, and it enables you to rebalance a fight that would not be balanced otherwise. You could use Dominion 2 to 3 times in a game. The whole point of Revive in Dominion is, you can only use it 2 or 3 times in a Dominion game. But here's what happens. If somebody gets picked off or bursts down, the enemy team gets a really good setup, or someone on your team makes a mistake and they kill an important part of your team, instead of it being a 4v3, you can hit that Revive. Your team can delay for a few seconds while you run back across the map with a speed buff from Revive, and then you just show up at the top. DK Zonix, why wouldn't you use TP then? Well, I would be very interested in using Teleport if you had a way to get it in this game mode. I think that would be a great thing if you could bring that over here. But Revive effectively does the same thing that Teleport does because of the movement speed buff, plus the speed shrines being on the map. Actually, Teleport would be terrible because you'd still have to be dead for the entire time. By the time you come back to life after the 20-odd seconds that you're dead, the fight's going to be over. They're already going to have captured it. No, I think Teleport's awful. Let's not do that. But thank you, DK Zonix, for bringing that up. Okay, let's go ahead and put the team names up here. Ta-da! We have a little bit of a pause going on. Looks like Circle Phoenix had some connection issues at start. And what is the best champion in Dominion for holding a tower? Zyra and Maokai. The two plant champs are probably the best at it. They're extremely good at holding on to towers because they have really long range and they have a lot of crowd control. There's not a lot of people that play Zyra, at least not that we've seen in the in competition anyway. But if you're a good Zyra player, she's a monster on this map. Oh, yeah, Supreme Hole, you do bring up a good thing. Teleport is the Ben Spacetime, excuse me, not Ben Spacetime, what? No, they did turn into Teleport from Ben Spacetime. But in Infinite Crisis, they did have a spell that had the ability to, it was like a Garrison, it prevented capturing and teleported you onto the tower at the same time. And they made a lot of balance changes to that. And now that they have changed Teleport in IC, it doesn't actually get used as much anymore, because now Teleport is extremely breakable on their map, and it also has the kind of a long cooldown, similar to the way that Revive does here on the Crystal Scar in League of Legends Dominion. So now we're seeing a lot less Teleport use in that particular game because of the changes that they made to it. Let me know about audio balance and things like that, guys, in case you can't quite hear me. I want to make sure that everyone's able to hear the show. Do I think it will ever get big like SR? As big as? Nah, not at all. Summoner's Rift is more popular, and that's okay. But do I think Dominion can be a popular map on its own and get thousands of viewers? Yeah, absolutely. Why not? It's a great map. It's just extremely poorly marketed is all. And since it's jarringly different from Summoner's Rift, a lot of people don't latch onto it immediately. A lot of people have bad first experiences and then don't come back afterward. Alright, I'm not going to be reading his chat as much, guys, so if you have anything important to say to me, say it to me after the game. I have to start paying attention here and do my little observation thing that I do, because I am the camera control as well. Heading up to the top, there's a clairvoyance there being used to spot out the enemy team's marching order to see when they approach and see if there is any way to get an engagement going on before they arrive at the windmill. Seeing a little bit of click to interrupt, back and forth capping here at the top. Lux is pretty good in these early engagements because of her ability to throw spells around, do a little bit of damage. Brand also see a good pillar there, landed on 4 people. Mao with the sapling throw sticks. His Annie hanging on to that stun. Now Lux can throw those Lucent Singularities all day long, but she will eventually get chipped down. Her mana... There we go. Dansky going in, takes that stun though, and that airborne, and another stun from Pantheon. Exhaust thrown down on him as well, and they're not quite able to, but finally get him down. Irelia falling shortly thereafter, and Zastam extending deep into the enemy team is defeated. Arc-Et, the only one alive, 1v3, but see that revive use heading back up to the top part of the map right now, and with those revives, they are going to be able to get here in enough time to interrupt the capture on the tower from becoming full. So because of revive, this fight is still going on, and that tower is not yet under enemy's control. Darker Sticks doing some nice kiting around the middle of the tower, which is impassable. Using that to stay alive a little bit longer. Zastam through the wall with Leona, able to put Annie down with an Eclipse proc. We have Brand on his way back up. Helo with his revive is coming back up here to keep the fight rolling. Good stun on Dansky, and there's the Conflag. It is going to be enough to take him down with the help of Pantheon. Now Helo 1 versus the world up here, and very good zoning from Leona and Lux. Brand can delay on that point for a while, but with those two moving out to this area of the map, away from Irelia, keeping Brand back, Irelia was able to sit in their channel for quite a long time. There's the 6, Annie being taken down, Helo and Circle Phoenix. They have pretty good mana pools compared to Arc-Et and Zastam. Looks like Jarvan is on his way back up. This fight could end before he gets here. Pantheon heading up to the top part of the map as well. Zastam being locked down. Arc-Et has only about 150 mana. Picked up the health relic for a good boost. That refill from it is really going to help him out. And Circle Phoenix Mao still alive up here in the top. Pantheon coming down with the Grand Skyfall, having hit 6 now. That global map presence really helping to buy some time. Irelia and Annie are on their way up. It still does not look very good, though, for Jellyfish Necklace's team at the moment. Picks off Leona with the spear shot. Didn't quite know if he was in range to proc that or not, but it looks like he was. DPS mistakes. He's going to go for the click to interrupt here. Ooh, he's going to be stopped by that light binding, but manages to Aegis through anyway to take her down, which has bought enough time for Sticks and Space Cakes to arrive at the top part of the map. Tibbers is out, and is a very good delay. Look at that, just moving Tibbers across the other side, walking it over to J4, getting the interrupt just barely before the point becomes captured. Helo and Darker Sticks, the last two alive up here, using Tibbers to zone Dansky away. That means Jellyfish Necklace is finally going to be able to gain control of the windmill. That revive play there, drawing things out for quite a bit. Looks like we're going to see our first gank of the game down here in the bottom part of the map. With the windmill secured now, Leona is roaming down to this area. Monster SS4 throwing the rockets there. And Minstrel coming out. Heimer throwing down the turret. Takes a stun for his trouble. Minstrel had used his Nether Grasp there. And Heimer has been taken down now. Lux looks like she was coming down as well. But that will not be necessary at the moment, as she can roam back top. Helo hang out in the bushes. Ooh. Zastam taking that sapling. Ooh, the Zenith Blade not connecting. Haven't used the Solar Flare there. Helo is going to be destroyed. Does not have his revive available currently, though, which is going to lead to an imbalanced team fight up here. If he had revive, however, you could see in this instance where it would be useful, where he would be able to get back up here before the fight fully breaks out and still be able to contribute. However, it is currently on cooldown, and it's not something we're going to see. But that's a situation in which you would use that spell. Minions pushing in on the tower, attempting to neutral it, so they're putting a lot of focus on the wave clear to make sure they don't lose that defensive advantage. Offensive Garrison being thrown down, so they can start this fight very, very freely. Great setup with J4 and Lux, able to put a lot of hurt on them right away. Circle Phoenix is the only one left alive. And tower goes neutral, Circle Phoenix goes down. Really picking up the double kill, and they're going to turn around this top point. Brand does not have anything he can do to that top. 1v4, Brand can't do anything there. So the only real option for Brand at the moment is to go down to the bottom lane and try to gank that area, since that's the only place he can currently be effective without just kind of standing around. He doesn't need to immediately go to the refinery because his allies, when they come back to life, will be able to go up there and take care of that. Helo Pilot tags him. Gets the pillar, looking for the stun. Mal's doing a really good job of staying behind the minions. Picks up the health relic. And it looks like he is going to be able to escape. Throws down the silence on Helo Pilot. And oh, the Voidling! Picking it up there. Monster S has 4. Going to take him down with the rockets, though. Along with the extra help from Brand. Space Cake's coming down here to the bottom. Cleans up Heimerdinger. Heimerdinger now, with the revive, is going to get back down to this tower here. And he should be able to arrive in enough time to keep it from going neutral. Yes, just barely. If Heimerdinger had not had that revive, Irelia would have gotten a full capture on that tower. Styx and Circle Phoenix hanging up here behind this building. That's a nice place to stand with a Maokai because you can just throw saplings. Middle of the map. They have juggle control of this bush. Jarvan's checking with the standard, says, hey, I know where you guys are at. Oh, hey, Cillian, how are you? Cillian is a Europe West player. You can see him in the chat. Cillian EU West. Very high-level player over there. Good guy. And they want to pick a fight over here, but they haven't quite found one yet. Pantheon with the Grand Skyfall. DPS Mistake's going to scare Mal's back. Not going to be able to pull off the gank that he wants to there, though. We have Irelia coming down here to respond to that. DPS Mistake's is going to walk on back up towards the top. Lux hanging out in the bushes. Jarvan checking that with standard. They're slowly inching their way forward. There's the light binding there on Circle Phoenix, but they can't really go for that. Ooh, the Twisted Advance takes Circle Phoenix very far away from his team. He has to fall back and regroup. Darker Stick still with the stun pocketed. Irelia and Malzahar were successful in defeating Heimerdinger down the bottom, and since Heimer doesn't have his revive up at the moment, he is going to lose that tower. Good combo from Styx is going to take down Lux. Circle Phoenix and Darker Sticks have to fight against Leona and J4, and that's a very difficult combo to deal with. Standing inside the Vengeful Maelstrom is going to help them a lot, however, especially combined with Annie's Molten Shield to substantially reduce the incoming damage. And, ooh, the Solar Flare slowing Circle Phoenix, so he can't quite close with Dansky to finish him off the way that he wanted to. Looks like they are going to commit to taking this bottom point back now. Monster SS4 moving around on the side there. Checking the bush with a grenade. Mal's taking down the turret. The bad's not doing a bad job at all. Monster SS4, ooh, his retreat path is cut off. Is going to go for a very greedy Storm Shield here. Jarvan is going to stop that from happening, however. Pantheon gets picked off. And the bads have just sort of wedged in, completely disabling Jellyfish Necklace from being able to get together. Only once Helo+Brand appears do they decide to fall back. No one up at the top part of the map at the moment. J4 standing around the top of the fight puts him in response range if anyone decides to go for that. Minstrel does not have his Nether Grasp available, but oh, good setup there in the bottom. Brand and Heimer are going to be taken down. Irelia with the double kill. Circle Phoenix looks like he may be the next one to fall. And Malzahar is going to pick that one up. Annie, while it was going on, has been able to take the point back, but is not going to be able to defend it very well. Pantheon coming down. DPS Mistakes with the interrupt on Dansky there, but so much crowd control from the silence, from the stun, from the airborne, from the snare. He is going to be taken down. Offensive Garrison used in that fight as well. Top part of the map had gone neutral to minions, but that's okay. They can pick that up later. While they have control of the refinery, the enemy's Nexus health is still ticking down, so they're still in a very safe position. They don't have to worry about it at the moment. Looks like Irelia is going to go up there to pick that up. SS4 and Darker Sticks out in front away from Mao. Mao not able to get there in time to apply some crowd control. And, ooh, dear, that final spark not connecting on Monster SS4. He just barely got out of the way of that to be able to survive. Helo living for a little bit, courtesy of Circle Phoenix's Vengeful Maelstrom, but eventually being picked up. Now it looks like they're going to give up this point. If you overcommit to a point like the refinery, if the bads had stayed around and tried to hold that, they had the potential of getting aced and then losing both that and the top and putting the enemy back in control of the game. However, since they very wisely decided to just back off, they're going to preserve their lead a lot better than taking a chance at losing it. Ooh, four-man group moving through. No stuns land on Zostam. He is able to escape. Leona, generally not the first thing you want to DPS if you could find one. However, 4-on-1, yeah, go for it. To answer a question in the chat, asked by DK Zonix, is Rammus a good pick? Rammus is a great pick. He is defeated by smart positioning because he needs direct line of effect to engage. But his crowd control and mobility are quite nice. He's extremely durable as well. But if the enemy can position well so they can't get in with his power ball to deliver a puncturing taunt or anything else, then his usefulness becomes minimal. Ooh, pushing them back onto the tower. Helopilot gets a lot of good damage in against Lux there, which is very nice. It's exactly what they're looking for. Eventual Maelstrom thrown down. They decide that's the place they want to fight at. And J4 is going to dash right on into that. Takes a stun for his troubles. Fight breaking out. Looks like good Pyroclasm set there. But Space Cakes and Zostam doing some work. Arc-Et able to hang back, and that's exactly what you want your Lux to be able to do. Good positioning there by Arc-Et, who was able to contribute a lot of damage. Circle Phoenix snared now. Darker Sticks coming back. Have to just use his revive. Circle Phoenix not able to get to the point. Styx' presence is going to deter them a little bit. Use Imager to upload your images, Buckeyes555. Heimerdinger, good clear in the bottom. Able to dodge that null zone. Taking quite a bit of damage from the Malefic Visions there. Circle Phoenix with a good initiate on, but Heimerdinger low on health can't really contribute too much to that fight, especially against Irelia and Malz. Maokai can only CC one of them, and the other one's sort of free to do what they want with Heimerdinger. Circle Phoenix going to be defeated. Three-man dive down there, not doing so great. But on the opposite end of the map, they have a two-person push against Lux over the drill. Lux can delay for quite a while over there on her own, though, because of her range. And the bad's in control of the bottom lane. And Lux, there we go. There's the final spark. DPS mistakes hanging out. Arc-Et, there's the Lucent Singularity going down. And ooh, there's the CV, but she is able to just narrowly get out on the other side. Good light binding tags two people. Irelia coming out. And Arc-Et, that was a really good play by Irelia. Able to do the 2v1 for a little while. Gets bailed out by Irelia at the end. Good job. Monster SS4 taking the tower back here. And this is where things start to get scary. When you get below 100 Nexus health, that's when you have to really start to worry about your chances to actually come back in the game. Dansky trying to do the 2v1 delay here, doing an okay job of it. He is pretty durable. It's going to take quite a bit of firepower to take him down, especially with the amount of MR that he has going up against him at the moment. Styx does not have a Void Staff completed yet. Helopilot, on the other hand, does, and does a substantially larger amount of damage compared to Annie. Arc-Et, once again, doing a good job with the positioning on Lux, hanging out in the back, throwing spells, and very wisely backing off. They have 3 points already. They don't need to overcommit to the refinery. Very safe play. If that turns out to be a fake Strogan, I'm banning it. Just saying. Because I don't remember what his Twitch name is. Darker Sticks tagged, and oh dear, everything bad happening to him at once. Circle Phoenix doesn't really have the mana to do too much. He's just going to sort of get beaten up as he walks away. If you want to destroy his sweater, just hold a thread. Monster SS4 coming up from the bottom, though. Zostam's Leona. Nope. Take a grenade to the face. Is Heimerdinger going to be able to pull this off? No. That Eclipse range, able to take him out. Pantheon finished up at the top part of the map, and Dancy is going to start taking the refinery. He's going to be interrupted by Helopilot, though, and not going to be able to get full capture. Dashes on out. Everything is just fine. And turns around, moves back through. It looks like he wants to keep the enemy's attention over there so they can't get active on the map elsewhere. Dansky's presence keeping 2 people tied up, but 3 people tied up at the refinery, which means they're not getting map position elsewhere. Ooh, good escape from Dansky. Still takes the stun, though, but is able to get out just fine. There's an offensive garrison thrown down on the tower, but there's really no one there to make use of that. Dansky, again, man, with the escapes, doing a good job. Zostam retreating back towards the top. Looks like Lux and Irelia were able to take down Leona+Brand up there. And J4 still keeping one person distracted over at the refinery. Heading down towards the bottom part of the map now. 2 people up here. If they can get a hold of Lux, they can kill her very, very easily. But the question is, can they reach her? Her range is so much higher than Annie's. Vengeful Maelstrom being thrown down. Circle Phoenix wants to get through. Twisted Advance through. Lux with the shield, though. It's going to keep her going. And Circle Phoenix isn't going to be able to take her down. Making a push now for the bottom lane. If they can get a neutral there, they can drag out the game, but things still look pretty grim for them. Are they going to be able to pull off the neutral here and drag it out a little bit more? Space Cake's taken down. Clock stopped for Nexus health. Currently no one to defend the refinery, though. Is going to be captured. Helopile and DPS mistakes have to do some crazy work if they want to keep control of that point. Usually, with capturing the bomb is just a delay tactic to gain position on the map elsewhere. However, with only Annie up there against Leona, they don't have an opportunity to go for the windmill, despite how much resources are being dedicated to the bottom, taking it back at the moment. DPS mistakes does take down Arc-Et. Once turnaround for this tower. Can't get it back, and that's going to be the end of the game. They can't unseat Leona fast enough to be able to capture it. And the Bads are going to win. Alright, we are going to go to the post-game lobby. Take a look at the items, the damage, other such things. Oh, it didn't capture my window for some reason. What do you know? Dude? Come here, screen. There we go. Alright. Let's take a look at the items here. Annie did eventually get that Void Staff. A lot of pen. Stacking pen is extremely popular on characters because of the sort of tanky meta. The meta is, be durable and just delay a lot. Is something that you want to do. And the real counter to that is just have a lot of pen. So that's why we see so much of that going on Annie and Brand there. Let's take a look at the damage. Delta Champions, 2 of the things that we traditionally like to look to after the game happens. Damage Delta Champions out in front is going to be Irelia. Well, Irelia, not irrelevant. 23k, and Lux right behind with another 23k. And then, time spent dead. Who is the graveyard hero for this game? This is going to be Leona+Brand, unfortunately, with 236. So we're going to go into the lobby, set up another game for you. We'll bring that to you in a few moments here. Stay tuned, everybody. I'll still be here. I will put some music on between, but I'll hang out and talk to you guys. If you have any questions or anything you want to know about the game mode, about players, about me, about whatever,